I wanted to shoot my shot. I mean, sometimes when I watch the show, I'm like, is it just a bunch of fan fiction? Is it just a bunch of fan fiction? Because there's so many things that I wanted to pack in there. I took up all the time. It turned into a therapy session.
Which we love.
Which we're okay with.
Yes.
No! Surprise.
Hello! If you've been watching this show, holy crap. Even if you haven't been watching this show, the memes have been all over the place. I couldn't even begin to tell you all the memes I've seen. What I'm gonna do though is try to break this story down thus far, up until episode 7, which I've mostly watched through clips online and heard people talk about the story, what happened. I pieced it together, what happened. So, we get another flashback episode, okay? We had one with episode 3 already. So this is only an 8-episode season, and 2 of those 8 episodes are just full-on flashback. There's nothing else in the episode but a flashback. So, in this one, they're attempting to explain more fully what happened on that planet, which I forget the name about. See, there's nothing really memorable about the show other than the memes. I struggle to remember the characters' names. Like Soul, I remember. Kelnaka, just because of the ridiculousness surrounding him. And then those 2 Jedi that died, Jackie.
No! Surprise.
Boop. Yeah, that guy. The Yord Horde, I'm sure, was upset about that. They were trying to make that a hashtag, Yord Horde. That didn't last very long.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah. We're gonna look at a couple of things. We find out how Torben gets his scar. We find out what kind of relationship, quote unquote, Stoll has to Osha. Okay, I'm gonna play this. We're gonna look at this. This is from episode 3. They actually show a few scenes from a different perspective, but scenes that were in episode 3, but from different camera angles, basically. So I'm gonna share this. We're gonna look at it's the first scene where the Jedi meet the witches. I'm gonna break it down.
Good evening.
I want the volume too high in case I get hit by copyright strike or something. I got hit on the last video I did, and then it just disappeared. Like I guess they just let it go. Because I wasn't like, I didn't even have the volume on. I was just showing videos without sound while I was talking over it. So I don't see why they would hit me for that.
I am Master Indara, and these are my colleagues, Sol, Kelnaka, and my Padawan Torben.
I am Anaseo, mother of this coven. These women are under my protection.
Forgive our intrusion. We thought this planet was uninhabited.
The all-knowing Jedi were ignorant of their surroundings. I find that hard to believe.
This self-righteous biatch. People are saying this is a good character. I could not, I cannot see it.
We mean you and your coven no harm.
And yet here you are, unannounced.
Those twins, why didn't somebody hold them back? If y'all wanted them to be kept hidden, why don't y'all freaking hold them?
Armed.
Wait, look at their robes. How they wear their sabers. Get back here. You are Mother Coral.
What do you want?
So I don't know which twin is supposed to be which. Not until she goes up and meets Soul.
We are concerned that you are training children.
Oh, you find out why they're concerned, I guess, somehow. There's a scene they show Soul in the forest, and he comes across the twins. Like, he sees them he's basically stalking them. Sees them talking to their mother. She leads them away, And they were on this planet looking for a vergence in the Force that they heard. You've heard this term before if you've watched the prequels, because it's in Episode 1. Qui-Gon says, I've discovered a vergence in the Force. And Windu says, located around a person? A boy, Qui-Gon says. A boy with the highest concentrations of midichlorians I've seen in a life. It's possible the boy was conceived by the midichlorians. See, we get that whole scene. And that's basically what's happened here. The Force, or the thread, whatever, the witches call it the thread, but it's the Force, has conceived twins. And then we find out in this episode also that they have the same consciousness, but in two different bodies, which explains a lot because the actress seems to be playing the same exact character but with different clothes on. Because the personalities are not distinct at all. But this, I don't know, it's just really weird. Something that's never really been done before in Star Wars. It's another one of those canon breaking kind of things. It's like, why is this never brought up again in the next 200 years? They do bring up something that happened 100 years prior to this series, the hyperspace disaster, which is something that happens in High Republic book. A ship gets attacked while it's in hyperspace, and then the pieces of the ship just like start crashing down on several planets, destroying everything in its path. So that's the hyperspace disaster that they reference in this series. They just expect everybody to have read those books and know that. I only knew about it because I read like the first couple of chapters of that book, and then somebody referenced it. I was like, oh yeah, that's what that was. Because the part I've read so far, it hasn't said what's going on. Like, people are just at these different stations on these different planets, and the debris is falling and killing everybody. And that's all they know so far. So just a little background on the references they make in that. When they're on this planet, they actually have, I don't know if you've seen this, Kelnaka with what appears to be just a metal detector. Like, they might have picked this up at Harbor Freight or something, Dick's Sporting Goods, and just put it in the show. This is laughable. And this has been all over the place. It's Star Wars, and they could come up with anything creative at all to give him, like, let their imagination go wild. But they're just so lazy that they give him a metal detector and tell him to use it like a metal detector. Edit. Not like they were short on budget either to let the prop department make anything. Just pure laziness. I don't know. Bro, they literally use razors in Phantom Menace. I don't remember that. I don't even know what they're referencing there. But back to this. All right, they meet the Jedi. The Jedi distrustful of these witches. The witches are distrustful of them. So you can already kind of tell how this is going to go down. Well, we saw how this goes down already.
Public law states
Brendok is not a part of the Republic.
But we didn't see everything that went down.
There are no children here.
That actress is horrible. I didn't get all the clips in of her yelling and screaming. It was very cringe.
Come out. We won't hurt you.
Yeah. When they come out, Soul notices the mark on her head, and he's like, "Wait, that wasn't on there before. What are you doing? What kind of ritual are you making these kids perform? You're gonna sacrifice them?" I think uh I think he overheard one of the mothers saying that you'll all have to sacrifice something, you know. We all have to sacrifice ourselves. Something along those lines. So that's what's got Soul so worried about the kids' safety. These kids they just met, by the way. Like this okay, this is gonna be the first time he even meets Osha.
What is your name?
Osha.
Osha. My name is Soul.
Osha,
May we meet your sister? Where is their father?
they have no father.
That marking, it wasn't there this morning.
You're spying on us?
They want to take our children!
The Jedi do not take children.
Okay, so that's debatable. Really depends on the Jedi. I think in some instances they do actually kidnap children, but I don't think they're supposed to. They're supposed to actually get permission from the parents to bring them to the Jedi Temple. That's a gray area. But I think in Leslie Headland's mind, they do actually just kidnap children, left and right. She paints the Jedi in the worst possible light in this series, has them doing some shady stuff that they never did in the prequels or the comics or I mean there were some Jedi on the outskirts, like Quinlan Voss. Sometimes he did some questionable stuff, but he always came back to the light side, even toward the end. But she's just making the Jedi out to be this horrible institution, like no different than this witch coven, which is also horrible. Like, look at this chick right here with the horns. Doesn't she look evil to you? And then the rituals they perform seem very dubious, to say the least. And you'll see more.
Your tongue or I cut it out for you.
So, no.
Just letting her see.
I think you would make a very good Jedi, Osha.
Okay, he just met her. How would he know that?
Would you like to be tested and see if you could become one?
Yes, please.
So, okay, before anybody could even make a decision, these witches, not gonna let the kids decide if they want to be Jedi or not. Just gonna threaten these guys. It's like, get the hell out of here.
If you want your Padawan,
And in episode 7, you see what he sees in his mind, which is her saying, what do you want? What do you desire? Do you wish to go home? He said, yes, that's where I want to go, to Coruscant. He just wants to go back home to Coruscant.
return to his right mind, I suggest you all leave. Now.
Please let me take the
If you want him to return to his right mind, I suggest you all leave. Now, doesn't that seem evil to you to do that?
test.
Mother Anastasia, you cannot deny that Jedi have the right to test potential Padawans. With your permission, of course.
With your permission, of course. So which is it? You have the right to test them, or you have to ask permission?
The scouts will bring Osha to your camp at midday.
Both girls. a sister too.
We appreciate your cooperation.
All right, so yeah, that was the first, uncomfortable meeting between the the witches and the Jedi. I was gonna play. Let's see. After that, okay, so we get another perspective. Okay, Soul and right here. Okay, Nerdrotic broke this down like a lot better than I could. Right here. So after they, so after they go looking for the virgins with a metal detector and uh Master Soul collects moss, not carrion moss. I mean actual moss. Puts it in like a lunchbox looking thing. The 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 two guys, Soul and Torben, decide after they've gathered the data, and whatnot, that proves that the the virgins came from this planet. That instead of sending that info to the Jedi Council, to the Jedi Temple, they decided to run off to the castle to collect their own proof, quote unquote. Why? I don't know. Because they have the proof, but they're still going to the Jedi Temple. The not the Jedi Temple. The witches' temple. All right, Nerdrotic's video is titled "The Acolyte Episode 7 is a disaster. The Jedi are bad, confirmed." And I think he's spot on with this video.
Inexplicably stupid, and in this case, big surprise, it's the men. Jedi Master Weak.
Yeah, he just points out that the women in these are not the stupid ones. It's always the men in Disney Star Wars doing the stupid stuff. I've seen it time and time again.
Incompetent male is so desperate to go home that he's willing to kidnap 2 girls to get proof of something.
Oh, I think he made a mistake here, though. He called him a master. He's a Padawan at this point. However, he jumps from Padawan status to master in like 6 years. Because they say in like episode 1, was it episode 1 or episode 2, that he's been meditating, been in like a trance for 10 years, not even eating anything for 10 years. So he's a Jedi Master when he goes into the trance, because he's a Jedi Master when he comes out of it. So only 6 years between Padawan and Master. And some people say, okay, what about Obi-Wan? He became a Master after being a Padawan. It took him 10 years to do that. I guess it's possible, but even in Phantom Menace, he said he was ready to take the trials and become a Jedi Knight. This guy seems like he's out on his first mission. Like, super green. I don't think he would be anywhere near ready to take the Jedi trials. He's just jumpy and nervous and a wimp. Like you've been on this planet for 7 weeks and you're just whining all the time about wanting to go back to Coruscant. Just not a very good Jedi. Like did you not know what you were getting into when you chose this life? Like, this is what Jedi do.
They already have. At this point, horny lesbian space witch of the Coven of Communist Witches instructs young diverse female antagonists to stop young diverse female protagonists and lock everyone in the castle made of flammable stone, setting off a series of events that turns this into the Waco of Disney Star Wars. And for those of you who thought there was a lot more to May setting fire to a stone structure.
Oh yeah, this is crazy. She she goes to set fire to the place and then instantly regrets.
May accidentally sets fire to a stone structure. Brought to you by the people who
that's the fire in space.
Gave you fire in space. Now the show is trying to present the Jedi as the bad guys, but to be fair to the Youngling Protective Services, this is clearly a coven of evil, all female lesbian space witches.
How about that?
So the JATF
I didn't catch that.
tries to de-escalate the branch to lesbians and everything goes sideways. Horny lesbian space witch attacks Elliot Page, young diverse female antagonist who that guy from Squid Game thinks is young diverse female protagonist.
Yeah, I think he mistakes OSHA like, twice in this series so far. thought May was OSHA or vice versa.
Screams. This is followed by diverse girl boss of the coven of communist lesbian space witches turning into a smoke monster.
Black girl magic.
Who gets killed by that guy from Squid Game when she decides to rematerialize around a lightsaber.
Dumb bitch.
I was going to let Osha go.
I called bullshit on that one. I thought that was stupid.
I don't know, maybe lead with that before you turn into a giant smoke demon and
That's what I said.
maybe reappear 2 or 3 feet to the left or right. Horny lesbians.
That's what I said too. And then yeah, she goes nuts and she's like, "Fight me! Fight me!" And Soul's just backing up, like, no, no, no. That's when we get Kelnaka in here. And yeah, this oh my god. I think this is it. Wait, no. It's when he first comes in. Hold on. Sorry about the black screen, but it's right here. Very much like he said shit right there. And yeah, Kelnaka's pawning both of these guys. Then she comes in. Kelnaka, by the way, he was taken over by the witches, like they just possessed him. The horned demon lady and the others possessed him to fight those guys. So then Indara comes in, takes the trance off of him, and it looks like all those people die. Well, the audio for this said they're lifeless. They all fall to the ground in a lifeless heap. So yeah, they're all dead. We don't know. They don't make this explicitly clear if it's just Andara that kills them, or if I don't know, the powerful spell they had Kelnaka under overpowered them, drained their life force or whatever. I don't know. There might be somebody else involved in this, killing them, and the Jedi were maybe set up. That could always be a possibility. But I don't know if these writers are clever enough to hatch a scheme like that. I don't know. There's other dumb stuff. No. He's telling OSHA, he's telling her, like, I don't know if I was the best master. So I don't know if I was the best apprentice. Says, you've tried all this time to get over it. Well, I have gotten over it. What happened to May. And you see what happens to May in this episode, why he feels so guilty. Because he makes a choice. He has a choice between the two of them. This place is going down, like, because May set that fire and the place is just exploding. He has a choice to save one of them, whereas anyone watching this could probably say, you can hold those 2 pieces of bridge up, but you can't just grab those kids in midair and float them to you. You can't do that. Why? But anyways, he lets May drop to her supposed death and picks OSHA up. So that's what happened there. Yeah. Whereas in an earlier episode, I think this was the first episode, she's fallen. She's like, believe me, I didn't do this. Catches her. So he can do it. He's capable of picking people up. I don't know how much she weighs, but probably not more than those 2 kids. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, here's how Torben gets that scar. Well, I almost called him Chewie. Killanaka. Look, he's the only one using the Force in this fight, by the way. Like, the other 2 guys don't seem to know how to use the Force. He's just barely surviving. But then look, watch. When he backs him up against the wall, dude, this guy has the strength to ward off a Wookiee's strike, bro. When he's backed up against the wall. And then you see him land on the ground and he's got the scar on his face. So yay, we got one mystery solved, I guess. You didn't even see really the blow that gave him the scar. He just falls on the ground and oh, I guess it's from him slamming against the wall. Yeah. Not that this is very important. See, I think the problem they have with the show is they put emphasis on things that aren't significant, aren't important. Instead of focusing on the things that should matter, like character arcs, the story, making sense. Just a lot of dumb, messy garbage. So yeah, I don't know if I had much more to say about it than that. I'm just gonna wrap it up with this.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?